Learning what the junior ROTC programs in Cobb are all about is our topic on this edition of the Inside Scoop. Hello and welcome back to the Inside Scoop. I'm David Owen. If this podcast helps you out in some way, please help us out by giving us a like and share it with a friend or two. Maybe even share it on your social media. Many of us have seen students in uniform, maybe at a football game, presenting the flags for our Pledge of Allegiance, but didn't know who they were or how they learned to do that so precisely. Here to tell us more about the program responsible for their excellence is Commander Phil Pascoe. Phil, welcome to the podcast.
Thank you, sir. I'm happy to be here.
So, JROTC, you guys call it JROTC, is that?
Oh, JROTC, or, yeah,
okay.
That's fine.
So if I want to sound like a nerd, I call it
yeah, sometimes they call it that, yeah.
So very briefly, tell us a little bit about who you are and how you were involved with the students in Cobb County.
Oh, yes, sir. I'm the senior naval science instructor over at North Cobb High School, and we also have Harrison High School that participates with us in our ROTC program. I'm a retired naval officer that's served 20 plus years. All of us are. I've got a first sergeant in the Marine Corps that works with me as well, and we instruct the program. So we are teachers. We're employed by Cobb County Schools, and the program is overseen by the Navy. So As far as the programmatics and what we do and what we teach.
So what does JROTC stand for? We throw it about, but don't really know what we're saying.
Well, so it stands for Navy Junior Reserve Officer Training Corps. Again, a few miscommunications in there, but that's the program.
Well, I don't think anybody's expecting you to crank out military officers from the high school, but you are kind of setting the path if they wanted to go that route, right?
Oh, absolutely, yeah. We so if they do go into the enlisted side, again, we don't have any skin in that game or whatever to say, the recruiters, they like to talk to us because they know we have, influence over kids, but we don't have any advantage or anything to say, well, you need to go into the military. But If they do enlist, if they go into the Navy, they get accelerated promotion to E3. And then we have Service Academy nominations as well. So for the Naval Academy or the Air Force Academy, et cetera, I can actually nominate kids for that, just like the senators, Warnock and Ossoff and Representative Loudermilk for us can nominate kids to the Naval Academy. It doesn't mean they get in. It just means that they're in the pool now to be selected.
So it's kind of like you saying, hey, I recommend you take a look at this student, as a possibly good candidate for the school.
Right. Well, and it stems back, and I don't want to go into history, but it stems back to the fact that they want kids from all different walks and all parts of the country. So that's why they typically go with senators and representatives, and they all get a certain number, so that we don't have all the naval officers come from New York or California or one place. We have diversity within the ranks.
So is this a class? Is this an after-school program? Tell us a little more about that aspect of it.
Oh, yeah. Yes, sir. So, yeah, it is a class. So let's start with that. But it kind of has I consider it to have four big lines of effort. So the first one's the academics and the class part of it, where they get the naval science and the naval history and there's they get PE and health credit as well for that. So there's a lot of academics. Now, I don't think any of our kids would say they came for the naval history classes. They come for the other parts of the lines of effort, which are the competitions, being parts of teams. We have orienteering, running through the woods with a compass, drill, some military type drill, exhibition and basic. We've got academics, which is, you might not think, be like, oh, that's not that exciting, but those kids, they compete. And it's like a Jeopardy type competition. And then we also have riflery, which is a varsity sport at North Cobb as well, so they get a letter. And drone, which is kind of new, flying the little drones around and on a timing. And some schools have cyber as well. So there's a lot of different after-school stuff. The third pillar is community service, We do a ton of community service and school service. Like you said, the football games, we provide security, or not security like in the case we're going to lock people up, but just kind of like man the gates and stuff like that.
Extra set of eyes.
As well as, yes, sir, as well as, the color guards, like you talked about, presentation of the flag and stuff. And then, other things like open houses and stuff. And then out in the community as well, we do things like Feed the Hungry, which is coming up, the North Georgia State Fair. And we've done, a variety of other things out there that just where the community needs manpower. And the kids generally enjoy it, and they can earn a ribbon, for their uniform, which is another motivator. So, and then the last piece is the mentoring, and I call it cadet development, which is from us, but also from themselves, because they are a leadership laboratory. They basically run their unit, with some exceptions, of course. We help them, but we have a commanding officer and we have a chain of command, and they mentor each other, and then we also mentor them as well to try to get them to the right place in their where they want to go for their career or whatever, whether that's the military or civilian side. Just
making those connections. And
yes, sir.
So there are a lot of commonalities of what you guys do. It seems to me, I come from a history of, I have to confess, I'm a band nerd and a band parent. One of the big things about band that I find interesting to be in parallel with what you guys do is that self-discipline side and organizational side. It sounds to me like you're developing leaders internally that kind of get a hands-on experience of what it's like to lead in that kind of scenario, right?
Right. So the program's designed to teach leadership and also citizenship. So those are the two big pillars, two big pieces there. So yes, absolutely. I mean, the kids will develop. It is similar to band. I had a daughter who was in the band as well. It's similar in that sense, where you have your leaders at various levels. They get training in leadership. We have a leadership academy. We send them in the summertime. We got a variety of summer activities as well for the kids. And yeah, they learn by actually trying things and realizing, hey, that didn't work very well. Maybe I need to take a different approach.
And that kind of goes back to your mentorship thing, right?
Yes, sir.
So how popular is this? It seems to me like some kids would scoff at it, but other kids may go, wow, this is really cool.
So it is pretty popular. We got about 140 between the two schools in our unit. And the cool thing about it for us is we tend to get a diversity of students. So we have the jocks, and we have the nerds, or whatever you want to call them, the academics, and everything in between. It's another place for someone to fit in, kind of like the band. That was my daughter's place to kind of fit in. We have kids the same way that will fit in here into the various teams, and we have everything, again, crossed from athletics to academics, where kids can kind of fit in and help.
As competitions?
Yes, sir. As competitions, yeah.
All right. That's really cool stuff. So getting down to the individual student, what kind of impact do you see in the lives of these students who maybe show up? Do you take all 4 years of high school, or do they have to be a certain age before they can be in the program?
No, they do all 4 years. Some kids kind of fall out. They change interests just like they would for band or football or whatever. The kids, some kids will
looks cool one year,
continue,
and then they get tired.
And then we'll have kids also that come in, in their 10th or 11th grade year. Because they decide, hey, I am. Usually those are the kids that all of a sudden might be interested in the military. They're like, yeah, I need to check this out. Maybe I can get some information or whatever. And but sometimes it's just kids that want to find a place to fit in.
Yeah.
And they have friends in the program, and they show up. It's like anything else, Sometimes the kids show up to school because the after-school activities.
Sure.
And that's what drives them.
Yeah, you got to get through the hard part first, and then you get to do this other thing.
Exactly.
So what specific impacts have you seen on individuals? I mean, you kind of addressed the general thing, but have you seen any specific cases with students who maybe came in with a hard situation and it made an impact on their lives?
Sure. We've seen multiple examples of that. Typically, the kids today, even though they may not admit it, they kind of crave that discipline sometimes, and a lot of them don't have it. I mean, some of them don't even have homes, they go from hotel room to hotel room and stuff like that. And, we've been able to take more than a few of the kids. I mean, one that I'm thinking in particular that wanted to go into, didn't really know what she wanted to do, but wound up going into the military and now is a Marine Corps officer. So
wow.
Pretty cool that she was able to kind of figure that out and get the scholarship to pay for it.
Wow.
And go on from there, So kind of changed the diversity, or the not diversity, direction of her life,
Yeah, absolutely. That's a huge course change.
Right.
I guess we'll stick to the ship references here. So, and that's another thing. I probably should have given you a heads up on this part, and if you don't have an answer for it, that's fine.
Sure.
But are there any post-secondary school advantages, scholarships, or what have you that this program can help students with?
Oh, absolutely. I mean, like I said, the nominations for the Naval Academy and Service Academies are really good. For those that are interested in the military side, we have the ROTC scholarships as well at various universities that are typically full ride, certainly for tuition and books and stuff like that, and everything else.
And that's ROTC,
ROTC.
JROTC.
Yes, sir. Yeah, their mission is to make naval officers or Army officers or whatever. You've got the Army up at UNG. I've got a daughter that goes up there, and we've got at Georgia Tech, we've got, and KSU, they have the Navy ROTC and the Marine Corps and all that stuff. So those scholarships are out there, but we try to work with the kids for whatever they want to do. So
Sure.
Develop a plan, and I have a list of them, and I talk to them and say, hey, what are you looking at? And sometimes it changes,
Sure.
Like I want to be Top Gun, from that to, well, maybe I don't really want to do that. I want to, maybe I want to be an electrician. I don't really, because sometimes they don't always tie the academics into everything. Well, yeah, it sounds cool to fly airplanes and turn upside down, but yeah, you need your 4 years of college. You're going to be taking heavy math and sciences.
You bet.
You got a commission, and you got a couple of years of flight school and et cetera, and all that sort of stuff.
In there too, I would imagine.
Yeah. So they don't always see that side of it, but we try to develop a plan for each of the kids to kind of help them along the way. And again, I would say more than half, or maybe it's about 2/3, don't go into the military at all, or don't really, see that as something that they want to do for the long term. They're just really in the program for the fun, and a lot of times, and that's one of the big pieces too, the fun part of it.
And I would contend maybe, at this age range, getting your body to coordinate.
Right.
That's for some of us. That could be harder than for others.
Sure.
And this is a great opportunity for that to be kind of trained into you by someone. So if parents think this might be something their student would be interested in, what can they do? Where can they go for more information to look into it further? Well,
obviously there's a JROTC website nationwide that you can just Google. If you put NJROTC or JROTC, it's going to come up. But each of the schools maintain their own not Google site. We have a Google site, but a website of some sort where you can get more information. Obviously, you could always look us up at a particular school. We tend to be out, for those schools that are feeder schools, we tend to be out in those middle schools. We're out there either doing school service and or doing active recruiting, trying to bring kids in and show them the stuff.
Yeah.
There's tons of information. They can contact us directly. I mean, any of the JROTC instructors, we're always happy to talk to parents because there's a lot of misinformation out there. A lot of people think, I don't want my kid. They're trying to draft my kid into the into the military. They're gonna ship them out, sort of thing, and that's not the case. They
aren't on some list for a future deployment,
right? Or they feel that we're trying to push them towards that direction. And then we get the opposite. Sometimes we get the parents, and this could be a bad thing too, depending upon how much effort they want to put into it. Say, hey, First Sergeant, can you fix my kid? I haven't done anything for 15 years, but you fix them now. So they think that we're some sort of magic pill to fixing, 15 years of
free range.
Not necessarily, exactly. So, but, we work with parents to do stuff like that. And like I said, I've got a really good partner, First Sergeant, Marine Corps. He was a drill instructor, but he's been teaching for 10 plus years, and he's able to kind of put that level of discipline in him, and it's kind of magical what he can do when he kind of puts that in there. So he's not Paris Island, he's not boot camp, but he's not it's not free reign either.
Right.
So
you're not getting the Mr. Rogers treatment.
Exactly, and they remember him. I mean, they'll forget me in a heartbeat, but they'll remember him for the rest of their lives. So anyway,
well, Commander, thank you so much. Is there anything else you want to add?
No, sir. I mean, we're happy to talk to anybody anytime that's interested. I would speak for my peers at all of the ROTC schools. We're all actively recruiting. We want kids to come in. We want kids to participate. I would say the Cobb schools in general, in our area, they have the best ROTC units, and I'm not just saying that. And I'll just toot our horn a little bit. We are at North Cobb Harrison, we are the most outstanding unit in the area. So I just toot that just a little bit, but I would say that applies to all of the Cobb schools, ROTC units. They're all equally good. Hillgrove, national champions in orienteering. Allatuna's been to nationals as well. Kennesaw, I mean, you name them, they're all good, and they've got great instructors at them. I mean, I can't think of any, bad examples, or all of them. I would put my kid in all of them.
Wow.
So we're happy to talk to people and happy to have your kids participate. And we also need the parents, just like the band does, right?
Oh,
I mean,
okay.
So the parents are, active participants with us, field trips and stuff like that.
Okay.
So I'm hoping to get our kids out to Pensacola this year to go see the Blue Angels. So
cow, that's awesome.
We'll bring some parents out there as well, and so there's a lot of stuff we do. I mean, and the kids, generally have fun. And we went to D.C. this summer.
Really?
So my first sergeant took them to the Naval Academy, to Quantico, the Marine base, as well as all the national capital, stuff. But anyway, a lot of great opportunities for kids. I mean, just like a lot of different things, sports and stuff, but a place for someone to fit in.
Thank you, Commander. I appreciate all you shared with us. If you found this might be a good option for your student to consider, you can find the links in the description and show notes below. Also, don't forget to give us a like and pass this episode along. Maybe your student has a friend who'd be interested. Thanks for listening to this episode of The Inside Scoop, a podcast produced by the Cobb County School District.